All right, it is Game 6 in the 6, and fans across the country are hoping that this will be a Halloween to remember, a World Series title for the first time in 32 years for our Blue Jays. So joining us live now with more is baseball analyst Rich Griffin. Rich, thank you so much for joining us. Nick is down at the Toronto Marriott City Centre Hotel. I'll start by asking you, Game 6, this is not do or die for the Blue Jays. It is for the Dodgers, but they've got a really strong arm, a $325 million pitching arm in Yoshinobu Yamamoto tonight. How do you think the Jays are going to match up with them, given that they lost pretty big in Game 2 against this pitcher?
Well, it's a clear trick or treat here, and the trick is beating Yamamoto in this game, and the treat is winning the World Series for the third time in their history, first time in 32 years. I think it's a difficult task, and one that's very important to complete tonight in Game 6, because 5 times this century that a World Series has come home with the team leading 3-2. They've won 3 times in 6 games, and if it goes to 7, the visiting team has won both those times, the last time, those being in 2019. So there is precedent, but I do believe that they've seen Yamamoto. The Japanese pitcher is used to pitching on longer rest, and Kevin Gausman has been underrated in terms of coming in the postseason. He hasn't had a lot of run support, and don't expect a lot of run support tonight. But if they do win the World Series tonight, it'll be crazy on the streets of downtown Toronto and across the GTA. I believe that this Blue Jays team is inspired by the home crowd, by the home atmosphere, by the fact that everywhere they go on the road, even Los Angeles, that they have tremendous crowd support from Canadians across the country. So they know they're playing for an entire nation.
Yeah, Rich, that's a great point. You know, there really is that pride. You heard John Schneider talk about being with the organization for 24 years. He loves it here. Bo Bichette, Vladdy Guerrero have come up through this organization. What do you make of this team? Distinguish this team, Rich, between the 1992-93 Jays, because that lineup seems stacked with all-stars. This, of course, we've got our all-stars, but we've got some really remarkable sort of position and character players that have helped bring this team through when some of the all-stars haven't necessarily had their best moments.
Yeah, I do believe that this team is as close as any team that I've ever seen. I've been in the game 53 years, and it's as close as any team I've ever seen. The Dodgers, for example, are a bunch of well-paid mercenaries, and the Blue Jays are a team that really shows up in the clubhouse, wants to be there, supports each other. And the thing about John Schneider and the way he handles his team is that if they have the lead and you're a bench player, you know you're going to come in as a defender if you're the best player at your position defensively. And if you're trailing, you know you're going to come in if you're a better hitter than the guy ahead of you. So he involves everyone on the team, on the bench, and it really creates a feeling of camaraderie that I have not seen very often in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, and Rich, we know that the Blue Jays have come back time and time again. This is a team that you might doubt, but they'll prove you wrong. So even in tonight's game, let's say they're trailing by 2 points, fans shouldn't give up hope yet, right? Even though it's Yamamoto pitching.
Right. The thing about this team is they put the ball in play. They don't strike out as often. They're not going all or nothing with the home run swings. They get that feeling, as you point out, Jennifer, that if they get 2 guys on base and they're 2 runs down, that they have a chance because the next guy, they pass the baton very well. They do their job. Nobody's looking for the 3-run blast. They get it from time to time from guys like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette is back in the lineup, which is very important for them. George Springer will probably miss another game, but he's an inspirational leader on the bench. And you know, a guy like Trey Yesavich, 22 years old, comes in and shoves in Game 5 at Dodger Stadium, and he loves it. And he's surrounded by veteran starting pitchers who have been there, done it. And I think that helps. So it's the mix, the combination that they have put together on this roster. And as you point out, the fact that they never give up, they never feel they're out of it.
Yeah, they certainly are.
Amazing storylines for sure.
So much grit and resilience. All right, that is baseball analyst Rich Griffin joining us live this morning with his thoughts. Rich, thank you so much for your time. Happy Halloween, but go Jays go.